So Claire, I'm going to ask you now, please. I've got three questions for you actually. Because I'm really interested as a storytelling expert using like in so many ways in your business. My first question is why is it so important to use storytelling?
Well, we've been telling stories around campfires for thousands of years. It's how we interact with each other. I'm sure everyone could drop a story they've been told today in the chat if they wanted to, and it would be around their personal lives, but also their work lives. So it's just something that people remember. So lots of people will remember Bep's story today. It's a really powerful one. It's a perfect example of the sort of intersection between personal and business that many of us who work for ourselves end up telling those stories, because often there's a reason why we do something. Lots of us have a purpose behind what we do, and that's part of the storytelling process. So I think it just engages people more than data. But I am going to drop a bit of data, which is it engages people about 22% more than if you did drop data like I just did. But yeah, so I just think it's one of those things where we remember stories. And I think that's the thing. I've been a journalist for over 20 years, and everything is about story, and we can use it in business and in sales in exactly the same way.
And what is it? And I know we've kind of all been brought up on stories, and therefore it's the way we've learned in the past. What is it about that how does that kind of work psychologically for us?
Well, I just think it's a mechanism that we recognize. So I don't know if any of you know Donald Miller. He does your story brand, and I think it's a really useful model, which is the customer is the hero in your journey. So when we are using sales and business, we make the customer the hero of the story, and their problems, we're here to solve them. So once it becomes like that, so you can take them on a journey. It's like, we understand, we hear you, we know what's going wrong for you, and we have a solution for you. So you take them on a journey with you, and that's how it works. And like when you think of brands that are memorable, they're the ones that take you on a journey with them. They're the ones that go, oh, we hear you, we know what your problem is. So I think that's one of the key things that we need to remember as business owners, whether we work for a big company or we work for ourselves, is that we want to make the customer the hero, their pain problems, the villain of the piece, and then we offer those solutions. We take them on a journey with us. And I think that's the key thing to remember. And whether that's telling a personal story or a business story, we're still taking them on that hero or heroine's journey.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us, as the expert, what would you say? I've got these ones up here in terms of the elements, the kind of chapters in a good story. What are your top tips about the key elements of a good story?
Well, I'm going to bring the journo stuff in, which is it's all about the headline. You need to hook people in. I mean, what is people's attention span? They used to say it was 7 seconds. It's probably 2 or 3 now. So that headline you write on LinkedIn or even in an email, what is it that you're going to say? How are you going to get someone to go, oh, I need to read this. I need to listen to that video. I need to listen to that podcast. Like, what is it that's going to hook them in? I've got a good story about that, actually. I worked with a charity that was pitching an idea to have a climate change teacher in every school. It was a UN-led program, and their first press release that they wrote before I worked with them was, "We are lobbying government to get a climate change teacher in every school." So I was like, no one's going to listen to that. So we changed the headline to "Meet the UK's first climate change teacher." So that was picked up by local press, national press, and then Sky News came to cover the story. And not only that, we took that model and said, meet the first climate change teacher in Lincoln, meet the first climate change teacher in Brighton. So it was literally how a story can go viral just by changing the headline. So for me, that's key. And obviously, beginning, middle, end sounds obvious, not always happening with people's stories. And make sure there's a strong call to action. Now, it doesn't always need to be a sales call to action. It might just be where you take them next. Is it to booking a call, or is it to doing something else? So I think it's just, remembering that structure of, what is the journey you're taking them on, and what do you want them to do next, and remembering that.